Hi, freshmen. Welcome to our presentation called Freshman 101. And today we're going to be talking about just grades and transcripts and some of the questions that many freshmen have as far as what is a transcript and what does that look like? So we'll be going through that today. So unfortunately, we are not able to see you face to face going into the classroom, but we wanted you to at least get a visual of who your counselor was, and hopefully we will see you in person sometime soon. But we have 4 counselors here at the high school. Mrs. Jacobs assists students whose last names begin with A through E. Mrs. Morell has students F through KN. I am Mrs. Doyle and I assist students KO through RI, and Mrs. Wagner assists students RO through Z. So, what can we help you with in the DHS counseling office? There are really 3 different avenues, and we assist students with all of these things. So obviously this year is a little bit different. Normally we encourage students to come down and see us if they're having any issues that I'll kind of go through here in a moment. But for this year, it's important to know we are still here to help and assist you. If you reach out to us, through email, we will get a hold of you, whether you'd prefer to do a Zoom call, whether you'd prefer just a regular phone call. So we've been meeting with kids, throughout the school year this year in numerous ways, and we would be happy to answer any questions or talk to you over the phone or through Zoom. So personal and social issues. Obviously stress reduction, and that's something that right now a lot of us are struggling with. Kind of a very trying time on a lot of different fronts. So, that's something we can help with. Suicide prevention. We have been talking to students who may be struggling with feelings of sadness, or if you have a friend who may need some additional support, peer and family conflicts, referrals to therapy. So some of you may have been seeing outside therapists and they may have moved to Zoom sessions, and some therapists, may not have availability any longer. So if that's something you're struggling with, we're here to help you hopefully find a match. Anxiety and depression, and obviously issues with remote learning. We know this is not the easiest way for the majority of our students to learn, but we do have some strategies that have been very helpful. So if that's something you're struggling with, please feel free to reach out. As far as academic concerns, we have lists of tutors. We also have the NHS tutoring, which is taking place, and we have more information on that. Test anxiety. If you need assistance with a teacher, maybe you and a teacher are not communicating well, and that's a reason that counselors can sometimes step in and try to help bridge that communication. Educational tips. So maybe, whether that's study skills, organization, we can help with those things. Credit recovery, which we'll talk about further in the presentation, and your class selection. Of course, we are here and talk to students about planning for their future, whether that's going to college, a trade school, the military, what classes make sense for you. And obviously we meet with students multiple times throughout high school because things can change. And then college and career. So academic advising, meaning once again, kind of back to the, college and career planning or trade schools, career exploration activities, and we are going to touch on this at the end of the presentation. We're going to use a program called Naviance to help start with some career exploration. Many of you have done some of this in middle school, and we will continue this throughout high school. And then this has been limited, but camps and internships possibly for the summer that might help you figure out some of your career interests. college applications, which I know seems like far away at this point, but it actually comes up rather quickly. And then scholarships that we discuss with students when they're applying to colleges in junior and senior year. There are often scholarships that are available for students. So, graduation requirements for the class of 2021 and beyond. So what do you need to graduate from Dexter High School? So that's obviously a big question that students have during their freshman year is, what do I need to do? So English is, you would need 4 credits of English. Typically, kids are taking 1 credit of English per year. So obviously right now you're in English 9, that will count as 1 full credit. Next year, you will have World Lit and Comp and World Lit and Speech. And then junior and senior year, you will have more selection as far as some of the courses that you take for English. Math, you will need 4 credits of math, and everyone is kind of in a different place depending on where you came in with middle school, if you came up with credits, but typically you're going to take 1 credit of math per year. Science, you need 3 credits of science, and most of you are all in biology this year. And then you have chemistry and physics that you would normally take sophomore year. And then junior year, between junior and senior year, you have 1 credit of elective science that you would need to take. Social studies, that is 3 credits. And currently you're in American history. That is meeting one of your social studies requirements. Next year, you'll have world history, which is the 2nd required social studies credit. And then your 3rd year is American government and economics. And kids sometimes split those, take them between junior and senior year. World language, 2 credits of the same language. So it has to be Spanish 1, Spanish 2, French 1, French 2. Some of you may have elected to do American Sign Language. So that, of course, would count if you're doing that for both years. PE, you need a 1/2 credit of PE and a 1/2 credit of health to total 1 full credit. Then visual performing and applied arts, your VPAA credit, you will need 1 credit of that. So those of you that are in band, choir, or orchestra this year, that will fulfill your 1 credit of visual performing arts. Those of you that are not in band, choir, or orchestra, at some point throughout high school, you will need to take, whether it's foundations of art, graphic arts, lots of different options, but that 1.0 credit, so 2 classes. The Michigan Merit Curriculum is what we call our core requirements. So if you add these up at the top, that's 18 credit hours, and that's our Michigan Merit Curriculum. And then Dexter elective credits, you will take 4 elective credits, which would bring you to a total of 22 credits for graduation. Okay, so understanding your academic record, what are the requirements? So how many credits can you earn this year as a freshman? So we talk to kids about you're currently in 6 classes, earning a 1/2 credit for each class. So normally we ask this question so you can figure out the math correctly, but technically you are earning 3 credits a semester. So that means in semester 1, you're earning 3 credits. In semester 2, you're earning 3 credits to give you a total of 6 credits at the end of your freshman year. So how many credits must you have in order to advance to 10th grade? Hopefully you have those 6 credits. If not, we then will talk to you about that credit recovery that was on one of those slides. So if you find yourself in this situation, you will need to reach out to your counselor. Your counselor will reach out to you to talk about the credit recovery. So hopefully you have 6 credits going into 10th grade. You have, once again, if we double that, 12 credits going into 11th grade, etc. So that would bring us to that total of technically 24 credits you have the possibility of earning. And then once again, you need to have 22 credits to graduate. So you do have a little bit of flexibility. However, you don't have flexibility in the Michigan Merit Curriculum, which were those 18 core classes in math, science, English, and social studies, and world language. So those are must-haves. So that's where we get into the credit recovery piece if you do not pass your core requirements. Okay.
Okay, so your GPA or your grade point average in high school starts after the first semester of your freshman year. And Dexter High School uses a 4.0 scale. And that means that every letter grade that you earn has a value attached to it. So as you can see, an A is 4 points, an A minus is 3.67, B plus is a 3.33, and so on. And we average those first 6 classes you have taken for first semester. Once you get your grades, we average those together and you get what is called your GPA. And that GPA follows you to the next semester. And then you get a cumulative GPA adding on year after year after year until you are a senior. And then we average your whole 4 years together to get a final transcript. So your class rank, many high schools use class rank to show where a student is in relationship to other students in their graduating class. And this GPA, everyone today as a freshman, we're all at the same place. Everybody's ranked first because no one has a GPA yet. So know that once you get your grades for first semester, you will then have a rank on your transcript. And some of you may have the same rank. Maybe you get all 6 A's, so you're still at a 4.0. And then your friend also does that, and he's at a 4.0. So you should share the same rank until you eventually break away from each other and kind of do your own paths. So a rank is, if you are ranked 1, you are the highest ranked person in your graduating class, etc. If you're ranked 2, you're the second highest ranked GPA in your class, your graduating class. Dexter High School does not recognize a valedictorian, which typically in most schools would be ranked number 1, and a salutatorian, which would typically be ranked number 2. We only report class rank as on your transcript. That's what colleges are going to be looking at. Class rank is represented by 2 different numbers. So when you see your transcript after your first semester, you're going to see the total number of students in your graduating class, which is the bottom number. So in this particular example, it's 325. And if you are 76th with your GPA average, you would have a 76 on the top as the numerator over your total number of students in your graduating class as the denominator, giving you your class rank. Your transcript is so important. So the information we're going to give you today just gives you what information does a transcript have on it, and how do I start building a good transcript. And so that's what we're going to go over today. So this is what your freshman transcripts look like, except some of you may have middle school credits coming over. You may have a Spanish or a French credit coming, which will be on here already. You may have an algebra or a geometry or both coming over. So you'll already have some credits. If you didn't have any high school credits that you accomplished in middle school, it's okay. This is what your transcript would look like. Everybody starts with a clean start. The GPA is not averaged with your middle school grades, however. So only the classes you take at Dexter High School will be averaged into your GPA. So your GPA, even if you have classes coming over from middle school, is still, you're ranked 1 like everybody else. Everything counts once you start taking classes at Dexter High School. Everything is going to be put on your transcript. So all 6 classes that you're taking this year, plus the grades that you receive in first semester, the grades you receive in second semester, and the number of credits you earned overall. So this is when you actually start your class rank, is after first semester. Your grades that you get in high school will build from your freshman year, and then your sophomore year will be above that, your junior year will be above that, and of course your senior year then would be the last thing or the first thing you see on your transcript. So for a first semester transcript, if you look in that first column where it says semester/trimester 1, you are going to see grades, and then next to it, you're going to see 0.50, which is the number of credits you could earn in that particular class. Now, your transcript should show 6 grades in that first column instead of 4. We previously have changed year-long classes into semester classes. So you're going to see 6 grades. Hopefully, you're going to see 0.5 6 times, giving you that 3 credits Mrs. Doyle had referred to earlier. And then you will see the same thing at the end of your freshman year, 6 grades like you see currently. And then all of those should say 0.50 as well, giving you those other 3 credits, totaling the 6 classes and the 6 credits. So this is basically where you start your GPA. If you look at the very bottom where the arrow is right now, it shows you how many credits you've earned. So total number of credits you earned in the semester, so 6. Your cumulative GPA, so if this is at the end of your freshman year, we averaged both semesters together to get the GPA. I think it says 3.2783. I don't have my glasses on. So, and then under that, that's where class rank is. And so this case, this student is a 91 of 302. Okay. So you will see our class rank, and then you're going to also see a weighted class rank. And what a weighted class rank means is when you become a junior and a senior, you will have the opportunity to take honors classes such as AP or IB, which will give you a different grading scale, or adds a 1.0 to the 4.0 scale that we already have. So that would add to your GPA. So that also has a weighted rank with it.
All right, 9th grade versus 12th grade. So the deeper you get into your high school program as you go throughout high school, you should kind of challenge yourself and make it a little bit harder. And it is harder than to raise or lower your GPA. So this 9th grade year is really kind of heavy GPA kind of situation. So could a student who earns 48 D minuses end up with graduating on time with your class of 2024? The answer would be yes. Anything within that D range, D minus range, would actually be given credit. If you fail that class, that is when you do not have the credit and it does not go towards that. So if you're able to earn those credits, you will be graduating with your class. What happens if you end up failing a class? It is that credit recovery that we talked about. We will talk through that, how to gain that credit back, what happens if you fail more than that one class. Again, it's planning for each person and how to obtain that graduation goal. We want everybody to be graduating and earn their diploma from Dexter. So how that impacts is like you're gonna have to work harder if you do fail those classes because you have to redo or gain that credit somewhere else. So how can your counselor help? We are here for you. We want to help you get the credits that you need. We are goal oriented, so we want to make sure that you're organized, how you would like obtain those credits, what you need to do better, how we get you to the end program. So we are here for you. So graduating a senior final transcript, like Mrs. Jacobs said, we're actually looking at a senior transcript at the top. And then it goes junior year, sophomore year, freshman year. When you get all the way to the bottom, sometimes doesn't have room. So it goes to your 8th grade, then on the next column. And it's got your Mill Creek algebra credit or your Spanish credit, French credit, whichever you earned over there at Mill Creek. It will also be on your transcript. Below that, attendance is important. It matters. So there is an important piece that colleges look at this as well. Like, are you attending? Are you interacting with schools? Is this something that you're going to attend your college classes? They do assess that. So attendance matters. Weighted and unweighted GPA and class rank. Ms. Jacobs went through that, but this is the end, 12th grade. So as you look at this, as you can see, this one had a cumulative 3.527 and was ranked 100 out of a 277 in both weighted and unweighted. That's very uncommon, but it can happen. So those are your weighted and unweighted. And we talked about the weighting and the AP and IB classes that these students have taken is what weights their GPA. So that will come in your junior and senior years. Standardized test score is on the right-hand side. It talks about GPA and where that lies, but then the ACT or SAT will be reported on that right-hand side. And right here it says ACT, but we are doing the SAT now here in the state of Michigan. So we will have that reported for our colleges. What are the colleges looking for? So number one, that transcript, they're going to assess what you've done throughout your high school career. What kind of courses are fitting or challenging for you? Just because my friend is taking AP and IB does not mean that's for you. You have to assess maybe what is going to be fitting, where am I at, what I'm interested in. All of those things are going to be important and a conversation that we can have as your counselors with you. An upward trend in grades. So if you're nailing English, let's try an AP English. If you are doing really well in math, you challenge yourself in math. You know, it could be that your strength is in a certain field and you want to challenge yourself in that. If you're doing well in everything, then push yourself to do everything. The colleges are going to look for that. The second thing they're going to look at is your SAT or ACT scores. Those are test optional right now with everything that's happened in our COVID situation. They have opted to give a questionable score. If you wanted to opt out of it, they are still going to assess you based on other activities and job experience, your volunteer positions, your essays, and even teacher and counselor recommendations. So you don't want to get on the bad side of us. As we are behind you 100%. We just want to make sure that those recommendations go to the colleges for what you've done, how you work hard. It could be this freshman year has been super tough on you, and it's important to know we're still behind you and we will still write that recommendation letter as we see your growth experience and how you move into maturity and change some of those work habits, maybe to the positive. We can also put that in a recommendation letter. Super cool how colleges look for that kind of stuff too, because it is perseverance and making growth patterns. So we also know that colleges look into social media sites and dishonesty conduct, and they are paying attention to outside things other than just the academic piece. So make sure you're making good decisions.
So I am Mrs. Morell, and I'm going to talk to you guys about EDPs and college readiness. We use a program here in Dexter called Naviance to generate your educational development plan, or what we call EDPs. This is required by the state of Michigan for graduation. So every student in the state of Michigan at a public high school has to generate an EDP, and they have to have it ready for graduation. What your EDP does is it helps you kind of drive the boat and figure out what you want to do for a career, and how your classes can kind of play into that, and in your college plans. So it'll help you facilitate your course selection, and help you focus on what your post-secondary goals are and plan for those. We will be sending out some assignments in Naviance, and this will help you explore post-secondary plans and what careers you may enjoy. And it's based on assessments that you take and inventories that takes into account what you are good at, what you enjoy doing, and what do those things kind of line up to in terms of a career. So they're very important to do, and it'll be a really good way for you to explore what careers you may enjoy and what colleges then have programs to help you prepare for that career. So like I said, we are hoping to get an email out to you before break with some assignments that you can do on your EDP. You'll need to get these started because, like I said, it's a graduation requirement. So we really hope that you take care of them during your time at break, so we can get to scheduling after break, and you'll have an idea of what you might want to look into. So your post-secondary options after you graduate high school, and this is really important right now. A lot of places aren't just looking for a high school diploma for you to begin your career. You need to have some sort of post-secondary training saying, I have skills that make me marketable and that I'm good at this thing that I like to do. So you can do that in a whole bunch of different ways. You can do a career and technology education, a CTE consortium program, and you can start those in the high school. And when you graduate from high school, you are certified in certain areas. And like I said, that means you have a piece of paper saying, I have the skills to move forward in this career. You can also continue your education at a community college to further your certifications in certain things. You can do trade schools and apprenticeships. This is big with welding and pipe fitting and things like that. And again, that's another way for you to have a certification saying, I have skills in this area. It makes you hireable and marketable. You can join the military and come out from your experience, from your service, with the same sort of certification, and you have the ability to attend college after that, and oftentimes it's paid for by the military. There are plenty of fantastic two-year colleges in our community, and that's another really great option for a lot of our kiddos. These schools have certification programs, like I kind of talked about before, that you do 2 years and then you're certified to do things. They have a phenomenal welding program at WCC, and kids get hired out of there making quite a bit of money, and they have certifications and lower student loans right out of school. Some kids go to 2-year colleges, community colleges, to get the basic requirements done for their 4-year degree, so they can pay a lower rate for tuition and get the same gen ed requirements taken care of, and then they move on to their 4-year university to finish their degree. We obviously have lots of 4-year colleges in our own backyard. We've got the University of Michigan. We've got Michigan State, a lot of really great schools in our state that a lot of our students also attend. And that is a little bit more of a traditional 4-year program. And then we have some students that take a gap year. So they take a year off. It's an intentional year off, where they are working, or they're volunteering, or they're doing an internship in a program that they're interested in. It shows colleges that they're interested in a particular field, and they're doing something with that. It could also be travel to other countries to learn about different cultures and things like that. So if you're thinking you want to take a gap year, make sure it's an intentional gap year, that you have a solid plan for that. And a lot of our kids come into the high school knowing where they eventually want to end up. Some kids have dream schools that they really, really want to go to. So we want to make sure that our students understand what the minimum requirements are for some of these schools that they want to go to. And we want to have kids get it in their freshman year because, as Mrs. Wagner said, your transcript starts building your freshman year. And depending on how you start that transcript, it could be really hard to recover. You want to start strong and stay strong if you're looking at schools that have a 3.8 to a 4.0 grade point. Some of the schools over here, Hillsdale, Kalamazoo, and the University of Michigan, all have the expectation that you'll graduate high school with a 3.8 to a 4.0. And U of M, sometimes it's over a 4.0 and you may not get in. They do holistic reviews and they want to see that you're doing personal projects, do your volunteering, you've got some passion in your life and you've followed that and you've volunteered and you've done things to show what you're passionate about. But it would be kind of late if you decided as a junior, hey, I want to go to U of M, but at that point you have a 2.1. It would be hard to move your grade point from that 2.1 to a 3.0 where you would need to be. So if you're a student or if you have a student who knows exactly where they want to go, make sure that they're planning for that now. So that way it doesn't become a dashed hope their junior year when it's too late to fix things. So I think a lot of times this is kind of eye-opening for parents because they didn't realize how competitive some of these schools really are. So that is where you can find this information. And if you have any other questions, please feel free to email any of us. We would love to talk to you. We'd love to set up meetings with your student or you and your student, because that's what we're here for. We hope you have a good holiday season.
Thank you for listening. Bye.